Page 5, Melody, a very famous little piece by Robert Schumann. On page 4, they talk about interpretation, and you can read through that. We're going to talk about these things as we go through the book, because you got to learn to interpret. I wasn't really taught a lot about interpretations. My teachers all had the style of do as I do. You know, it's monkey see, monkey do. Let me demonstrate it, and then you copy me. I was never taught to think of my own. It wasn't until much later, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? Because I was like, well, I got to hear the piece before I can play it. And I thought, no, that's not right. If that were the case, everybody who composed a piece would have to be required to play it so everybody else could hear it first. And that's not the way it works. We have to be able to take a new piece of music we've never heard and know that we're playing it correctly and get to where we can feel it and interpret it ourselves. It becomes our piece. That's what I'm after in these lessons. I don't want to do it and have you copy me. That's why I don't perform very many of these. You'll find recordings of this thing. They talk about it up above. It's a very famous melody. Common time or 4/4 time, no sharps or flats. Let's just check these. When you start these things, finger it in a way you can do it all legato if you can. It's what I recommend. Not all teachers teach that. What I do, reach up. Just connect everything. The second line is similar. Go to the third line here. Rest. Rest. See that F? There's a stem going up and the eighth note coming down. There's two voices. Hang on to it. It's a quarter note. Just add the C to it and then lift both up. So that measure is here. That's the melody. And then come down. Now again, two voices. We got quarter notes. Hold it, and then another one. And I recommend a 1-3 here. I want to connect this if I can, so it's the thumb has to do both, but it's the melody, the top note I'm really after here, so it's here. And I would recommend here to connect this to this, use thumb, use here. That way I connected all that melody with I'm trying to figure out a fingering I can use to play it all legato. Because that way I can feel it better. I can feel it as if I play every note with the same finger. To me, I can't feel that as well as I can if I use different fingers on these. The left hand's the same thing, even though it's not melody, I still want to feel it. Eighth notes, I'm not bringing anything out. All I'm doing is I'm just kind of collapsing a little bit on the beat. And it depends on how fast it goes, but you don't want a tight wrist. So the natural accents is the first and third beats, and that's kind of where I'm collapsing the wrist. So it's 1, 2. Got a West fingering there. They threw something at you. Go down third line. You can't connect that, that's all right, because the melodies, this is all supporting stuff, that's all right. And then the last line, you can get that too, I hope. Then you put the hands together slowly. How slowly is up to you. See, they got different fingers playing at different times. So if this is causing you a problem here, slow it down. G is by itself. The right hand has a rest. And come up. You do that line again. Let's go down to the third line here. Rest. Rest. that's by itself. And then hold that down as you play that. So here. See, they're overlapping a little bit. And it's important that we get these overlaps. Don't just brush them off. And then the last line. Whatever, if you read, I don't know. But try and play it all as legato as you can with the fingers. Then we can go back and add the articulation. Now here it's the slurs, and that's for the right hand. This left hand needs to be legato all the way through. So when you're starting this, I'm lifting up in the right hand, not the left. So, second measure. At the end of the line, it's not a problem, you gotta rest. So, and the second line is the same. Lift up in the right hand between the rests, or between the phrases. Left hand is legato. And so put in the phrasing, get that working, and we go back and we can add there's no pedal on this. Don't use pedal, this is strictly fingers doing this. Pedal messes it all, no pedal. Here, softly and cantabile. Cantabile is a sweet. This is a sweet piece. This is a gentle piece, thing that will put you to sleep. It's soft. That's the right hand. That's soft. You'll have to decide what soft is. It's different first. Keep the left hand very soft. Forth. Now when you get down to the third line, you have an accent, another accent, another accent, and as you're doing this, you're crescendoing up. So that's the right hand. Keep the left hand soft. Now come back down. See this da 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 right there. I tend to slow down a little bit. It's an interpretive thing, and then back to this sweet soft thing again. Just this left hand, keep that really, really, really soft. We don't want to overpower what the right hand is doing. Speed-wise, I think about where I was going, somewhere in the middle. So 1, 2, 1. Different people will, again, it's interpretation. It's the overall flow of the piece has to be moderato. It's not the beat. Tempo is not how fast the beat goes. Tempo is how fast the overall flow of the piece goes, and it depends on what's in the piece as to how fast that's going to happen. We got eighth notes all over the place. What's moderato on this? Decide what that moderato is, and that tells you how fast it may seem slow for the melody. To me, that's more of an andante. But when I add all these eighth notes in it, that changes them. So you have to decide on the speed for yourself. But that's my impression of how this goes. Again, no pedal, please, because pedal will really mess this up. Now, as far as the interpretation goes, they give a lot of good ideas on page 4. You can read through those about interpretation. I don't go into that. We cover them. I like to cover them in the actual pieces. So we'll talk about them as we get to the piece, like melody. This is like a lyrical sweet piece. We can slow down and speed up a little bit, and you can get a little louder and softer. It says piano at the beginning of melody, and you don't get anything else until the third line. But you're not going to play the first 2 lines at the same thing. You get a little here. I tend to want to go just I feel it. If you feel it, you'll play it. Come down at the end of a phrase. And then you go back and do that. You get to know the piece where you can get into the music, and you will feel it. And you'll feel it different each time you play it. And that's wonderful. Play it different each time. I don't play things the same way all the time. That's mechanical. So get into the music here.